Hello, my name is Logan Shaw, or Logan Story. Today's Marvel Cinematic Worldview commentary, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Thank you for coming. Let's get into it. What's the story of this whole film? Is it to retrace your steps in terms of what gained and what's lost? Is it to be inimical in terms of the quizzical life that's lived in terms of going within the streams of Quantumania? Is it meeting someone who is deep down powerful and deep down evil? And because of that, what does that lead us to understand about the characters and their livelihood in the Quantumania? See, the thing is, when you think about all this in general, it makes you kind of flustered. It makes you kind of panicky because you don't know exactly where the science leads up to what's real. Being subatomical is kind of crazy. Going within the realms of, well, different universes is crazy in itself. But going subatomic, that's crazy. And due to this, there's a lot of passions that go with the science that even Scott Lang could get involved in. See, Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne, Ant-Man and the Wasp come together and make this brass situation something to get a hold of. And eventually they do. Well, kind of. See, the thing is, they're setting this overall trap. A trap that makes it seem that they can't get out of it. Because you don't know where danger is going to come at any given moment. And because of that, it ends up being something that we can see and intercede to. And the Ant-Man and the Wasp understand this. But Ant-Man has some thoughts at the end of the movie. What if Danger didn't follow suit? What if Danger is still here? What if he comes back? What if Kang comes back? Well, unfortunately, he's not coming back because, well, there's been changes to the Marvel world. And due to this, it means that there's a whole shift in what Marvel is trying to accomplish. But at the time, Kang was the new villain. And he was the most powerful villain the Avengers could ever face. And that's an important thing to this whole film when you wrap our head around it. It's the business and science of what can we do to help other people, or what can we do to take control? And that entirely is why this movie seems to be kind of in both directions. But one of them doesn't meet the direction that they're going for. You see, the thing is, when it comes down to heroes and villains, it is very discreet. And sometimes the discreetness comes from a little thing called opening up. And that's what these characters do. They open up. Especially the villain, who has no shame in opening up. See, Kang wants control. And he can get it through the sciences of PIM technologies and even Stark technologies, as well as the history of, well, Captain America. And the history that ties into the friends and foes of Captain America. The way he can skip through time and make things that are reality unrealistic. And here's the thing. That's what we're going to talk about, and let's go into detail. So, let's go into detail. The science of Stark technology, the science of PIM technologies, and the science of every technology that we know in the Marvel Universe. See, technology is not a stray of Marvel comics. I mean, we even have Spider-Man, Peter Parker, that delves in science himself, and mathematics, and, well, other things that lead into tech industry, or biochemics, or physical science, physics. All this technology comes in the brands of good people, but if the wrong hand gets a hold of it, who's to say they're going to be very careful with people involved? I mean, Sokovia was all that. It was a damage through. See, the bad guys didn't care what they had to damage, and the good guys were just too focused on killing the bad guys that they couldn't even focus on the fact that people were dying in the midst of their protection. It leads into the question, who's really protecting who? Is it bad that we have this technology? Or is it good that we can spring above the idea of technology to think of what's greater good for people all around us? From China, to New Zealand, to London, to Russia, to the Americas, to Wakanda, and to Sokovia. All of these are implementations of why science has to be taken care of. And the thing is, in Quantumania, it's a science to not combust heads with the person who takes science and uses it in the wrong direction. It's important to not agree with him either, because, well, his agreement is not really high and applicable to his overall scene of the science he creates himself. So, what do? You fight. You make sure science is used for the purposes of good. And you make sure the human race doesn't have to tie into what's known as a dictatorship, or an oligarchy, or a kingship. All this together represents something bad. But Ant-Man and the Wasp seem to show what it means to fight for the goodness of people, what it means to fight for the goodness of love, what it means to fight for the greatness of honor, and what it means to hold the science that we have at our disposal for a moral and understanding reason. But here's the thing. What does this have to do with a regular person? A regular Joe just like me and you? Well, application of course. Okay, so you need to understand something great about this whole film. Its implementary factor is to protect the people around you and make sure you fight for the people around you as well. When your brother faces a bully, what are you doing to protect him? Your little brother. Just take this as an example. Why is it important to understand the overstepness of your little brother's fear, getting bullied? What does it have to do with science? Well, think about this. If you use the things you use for the right reasons, if your morals are in strong standing, and if you have something to offer the world rather than something to deter the world, you're realizing that your responsibility is more than ever important in the situation. So, why don't you take what you know, take what knowledge you know, take what heart you know, and take what power you know, and use it for good, not for evil. Because a lot of things can be taken out of context, like, well, the science that's given. But if you put it in the right context, if you put it in the moral standing, if you have an overall reason why you're fighting, then guess what? Your brother will never have to face a bully again. Thanks for coming, and let's continue forward. Thank you for my story. Thank you for this marvelous cinematic Worldview commentary. There are more commentaries in the future, so keep an eye out for those. Also, the mission is 1,000 subscribers. You guys can get the behind the share, like, and subscribe button right on the screen. Also, by hitting the bell. Leave a like if you can too. Also, follow my Patreon if you can. That will really help out. Thank you again, and peace.